Okay, you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, so tonight, let me get my glasses.
No glasses for the old people.
And CBS, which is California Bonsai Society, Bob Presser is the president, and what he does, he's been bringing outside artists to amongst all the clubs, and it's really helpful because you get to see a lot of ideas and a lot of people doing all kinds of stuff. So today we have Sergio coming, and he's had a juniper, a maple, a Japanese maple, and he won best in show in the 2004 U.S. National Bonsai Exhibit.
2014, actually.
I mean 2014.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did I say? I can't even read. Okay, and he's got a BFA in art degree from Clinton University. He's from New Jersey, and he is not a master, but he does this for hobbies. And so we want to welcome. Okay, Sergio. And what he's going to do is we'll start from this side. He's going to go around all the tables. So can we give him a warm welcome? Any questions perhaps for the judge?
I'll try to go as quickly as I can, around the room. And if you guys, some of you guys, especially if you're beginners, maybe you want to perhaps follow through because there's a lot of things that you can maybe learn from other people's trees. And ask me any questions. Please do ask me any questions. That's what I'm here for. And like I said, I'll just go around. As again, I want to get to everybody. I want everybody to get the most out of the workshop, get out of it as much as possible. So, all right, Joe, do you have a preference?
One tree first, and then after he's gone around, and then if you have a second tree, then he goes, and then as he tells you what to do to the tree, he'll come back around and check it again. Okay?
Right. Is your preference where I start?
No, wherever you want to go.
Anywhere. Okay.
So you can start over here or
Let's start with the new guy.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Woo!
All right.
Break them in.
All right. Good job. Nice to meet you and welcome. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
So, I guess I had a couple questions just
Yeah.
artistically,
Sure.
because I knew your background, or read about it. So, I originally got into bonsai trying to find other things to do other than my addiction.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I saw this, seeing this dead split in between the two trees really kind of represented how my marriage has struggled because of that. And so I was curious, at first what I was interested in doing was moving any branches that were interior away as kind of like a symbolization of, growing apart if you have this dividing you.
Okay.
So I was kind of curious, any thoughts you had on that or any artistic insight you might have on how to best do that?
Sure. So let's take a.
And anything bonsai related.
Is there a reason why? Okay,
I just didn't pull that up, but
okay.
this is one of this, and I think right here is living, but then it's kind of
All
dead.
right. We're gonna take a look around here real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We have
Have you considered? Okay. One consideration that we have to look at is when we're looking at a tree. This is really kind of moving away from you.
Yeah.
All right?
No, yeah.
So and we can
the
tell
angle change can change.
I actually think it may be possible that this side here perhaps may have a better, more merit. That because look at how it just kind of course towards us. Almost the way you perceive nature when you look at a big tree, kind of like the branches sort of
Cover you.
hover over you. One thing very quickly, this branch going across, this should be kind
forward.
of face forward.
Okay.
Because it's really crossing a
plane.
A plane, okay? Like I want to do this very carefully. This should kind of go out. Everything go out, out.
And the only reason I didn't was because
If anyone wants to
initially
come
I had
up
the
here,
other front.
This is what he's saying. You're welcome to.
Really quite beautiful. I don't know that you need this personally. This is beautiful because otherwise you're gonna get a big gap, kind of like a sort of like a slingshot sort of effect. And this actually breaks that negative area.
Space,
One other thing is when we select a front, like right now, I would not select this. Notice how flat that is towards you.
It's flat.
So we are going to try to get a little bit of dimensionality to it. I think I wouldn't choose this angle. I would choose perhaps this angle because we get the benefit of seeing that top of the back. And yeah, I realize maybe some rough stuff is dead, but I think there's some beautiful stuff there that I think is worth keeping. Very quickly, when this is an old gin, in a more finished state, I would work that out so that it has more of an uneven, ragged,
not an artificial look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But great potential. I would probably shorten the top.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure where to go about because there's so many thick branches about where to go up there.
Yeah. I mean, I would still keep this shorten to here. I would shorten that to here a little bit for now anyway. I would clean that up.
John, did you put it?
This is
Yeah, I think that's dead.
just that. So immediately that made it easy for us.
Right.
We're just gonna
These two are apple trees?
carve that out actually. I was going to say cut it, but as I was saying that, I think we probably should be better to carve it to pick up on the story. It picks up and then makes your design a little more cohesive. So I would probably, I wouldn't do it this length, this long, but a little shorter. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if it's alive, it's alive. So I would keep this for now.
Okay.
Keep this for now, but in my opinion, I think this is a better front than the other one.
Do I need to grow this out
Yes.
to be able to counter how far that's going?
I
that
think
direction?
again, I think the way branches are moving is sort of on a steep angle up.
Yeah.
Nothing like this.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think you should
definitely
go down.
down.
I think you should just go up and out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This I'm gonna get rid of.
Yeah.
I would love to have. We don't have anything back here, right?
Something else there to replace
You
onto
may,
the side.
I may grow this out too.
Really?
I may grow this out.
To extend
and
the
kind of-
base or to use in the design?
No, to use in the design.
Really?
Yeah. I'd like to see also what is happening.
Yeah,
in
what's
the-
beneath that?
in that. But I think you got something quite wonderful here and kind of unique in a way. Yeah, sure. I'll come around again.
Yeah, please do.
Start working.
Pomegranate.
Nice to meet you. All right. Oh, yeah. Sure. Okay, these are. Remember? Okay. Sure. Yeah, so, one thing I would do is, they don't need to be in this much soil when they're so small like this. They can do well, you can get like a smaller training pot. I don't think this is way too early to even think about making a bonsai out of it. However, with that being said, I think one of the things that I would do is you can put movement on it, wire it, and because it's never too early to put any movement on young material like this. So I would just kind of give it some good movement and just let it develop. It's too early to think about making this into a bonsai, but I would transfer this into a smaller training pot and just let it grow. But we can do the movement today. Put some wire on it. Okay, you got some kind of interesting. Generally speaking, bonsai, these are probably not going to be very useful, aesthetically speaking. So I would probably cut that. Maybe work with that curve down here. Eventually, when that thickens, it may give us a lower, very interesting kind of trunk, which is I think pretty valuable. But I don't know if it's. I mean, we could put a little bit of movement on this, but I wonder whether again, I would let this guy just kind of develop, grow, cut these roots, let it thicken, put it in a smaller pot just like this one, and just let it develop. It's just a little bit too early for this one. It's just too young to really make it into a bonsai per se. Okay. But that's why, and I know
Two cuts.
you're very much beginning.
2 or 3 cuts.
It's good to have things like this, young like this.
Nip it, yeah, nip it.
To have,
If you-
maybe think about getting something that's
You got a bigger tool?
developed so that you can really start.
Go home and do it. Use your cheaper tool.
You do
Don't
have
use your nice ones on
you
it.
do have it here tonight?
Because you'll
No,
snap
okay.
it. I've seen tools snap easily.
I got you. Yes, again, this could be wonderful bonsai at some point, but this
Bigger
is going
loppers.
to be, we're talking about years.
It's a dead wood, so
Years
they're
from
extremely
now.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to chip your tool.
I'm sorry? Sure, yeah, then you're making more of an impact, so
about
I
it.
would get a bunch of them, right? For that, just take it out of the pot,
I have a
we
marker.
can
You
do
want
it.
a marker?
Break the roots, clean the roots, and then just kind of clump them together in a small pot. I don't know, a group of 15, 17, and that you can do, absolutely. When you do a grouping, make sure that you have different thicknesses. I'm sure you maybe know that already, because otherwise you don't want everything to look kind of so too regular and the same. You want a sort of a focal point in the composition, so you want a thicker trunk. Do you have more of thicker than this? Okay, and then you have, okay, all right. Okay, so you have a total of how many? 5? Okay, so you can make a little grouping out of that. Yeah, for sure. Yes, but since you're making that, since you're thinking about doing a grouping, it would be helpful to actually then start planting them, and then you know where to do the bends. You know what I mean? Instead of bending them now, because you don't know where all these trees are going to fall in the composition, so you're going to have to compose it first and then add the movement later. Yeah, just cut it off. Sure. Cut it off. You can, you know, maybe this goes a little bit down and up, and then maybe this becomes your leader. Yeah, but it would be good to have all the three and then kind of compose it in a small pot. I don't, you know, so, but it's not, I don't think it's useful for us to give it movement when we don't know exactly where you're going to place the tree. All right? Sure, of course. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, tell me a little bit about this. Where do you prefer your front? Where's your front? Agreed. Great. Yeah.
So, Sergio, where do you live again?
I am in northern New Jersey.
Northern New Jersey. So you're higher latitude than we are, much colder.
Much colder. Oh yeah, we get frigid winters for sure. Much colder. Much colder. Okay. So what's happening? Okay, what? Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking of cutting it here.
Okay. Yeah, sure, you can. So because we're finding that's a better angle right here. Just cut it off. However, when you bring it down, what's happening is it's crossing. So I would need to kind of bring it over, and I would maybe cut this one off and bring it over this way. Okay, so that
Which one to cut?
I would cut this one. You have the thickness here. Although I wish it was thicker, but I think you can let it grow and move it away. That way we have a clear shot to the trunk. The other thing here, when you design a tree, make sure that you see these branches very sort of right angle to the soil line. So you want to either go down or up, but nothing should ever, no branches should be parallel to the soil line or completely vertical, because your eye will pick it up and it will read it as a kind of an up thing out of the in the composition. You have a more interesting line here. I think that this is a more interesting from the front. I would cut this, and this one is a much better, I think, better positioned branch. I would say moving up. I wouldn't mind if this second trunk. I would treat this as a second trunk, and I think this is what it looks like to me, or what you're trying to do. I would let this grow because I would love to see that a little bit thicker, the base of that. So I would let that, without clipping it, just let it grow for 1 or 2 years, let that thicken, and I think the tree is gonna you know, I think it'll get a little more power, a little more character. But overall, it's a nice tree. I think your height, final height, I would say is about here rather than up here. By lowering that, by compressing this height, it's gonna make your tree feel like much stronger. And I don't know exactly what's happening here on the Nebari,
Not much.
but
Look,
yeah,
And then you
it's a
got
little
this
bit.
over here too, that's not.
Oh yeah, okay. And I think if we could air layer there, but I do not know how easy it is to air layer these guys. Probably not very easy. It would be great to air layer right at this point. You would get a true twin trunk right there. I like this, it's got a lot of character, but just because you got this going on, I mean, the other thing that you could do is kind of carve it out and join it here to this and just do more of a carving to add a little bit of interest to it. Instead of having that cut, just carve it, and I would just bring it all the way down and join it with this opening to make that tree feel a little bit feel the older. This here does not tell me the same story as this. This is age, this is natural, where that's artificial. So that, I think, if you did this sort of carving, you would add a lot to the tree. This is rather a bit, I want to say a little bit uninteresting, but if there's some, you know, a carving feature there, I think it would increase the value of the tree for sure. But again, that's just my take on it. You have to be comfortable with that idea.
I like the idea. I don't know that I have the skill.
I may move this tree. The reason for that is because you're getting a better movement in the lower trunk from this angle here. Here it's a little flatter, it's a little more subtle. If you move it over, you get that sort of movement to the left and then to the right.
Well, we potted it a year.
Okay,
So is it too soon to do it again?
probably. I would even carve it right here to add a little bit of interest here. Okay? Cool, I come around. Thank you.
Okay. A lot.
On its own colors.
Yeah. Okay, this is yours?
I agree with you.
You want
Yeah.
one?
Interesting guy. So I suppose it would be crazy at least one. Because right now I have 10.
Yes. Okay, let me see real quick. You have 10. You know what? I would say that after a certain number, I don't think that it matters to you. I just think the fact that it's even numbers. If you have, I think, 7 or less, you'd be right for like, you know, the odd versus even number. I don't think it's a What I would say is, where do you think your front is? Where you want the front to be?
It usually is here.
Okay,
Because this is the finger bone.
sure. Okay, okay. Okay. You probably.
That's a good eye. You know, I was.
If we're talking about our front being somewhere here, I kind of like this side better than anything else that I've seen. Because it always looks like it's supposed to look flat. So I don't like it
Next one. This one was
Here,
How it dropped out.
this from here, this small one is one of this large one, right? So I will try to push it out the way a little bit, okay? And you see how this kind of goes towards it? In nature, right, they all kind of push out because I'm looking for the light. So this is what I would do.
He says, take it out, take it out.
I know.
Does he say that?
And then I would bend this a little bit more, and this, so they kind of fan out, looking for the light. Okay, that was your front. Yeah, I think this is a better front for sure.
Help me, you're gonna carve this and bring this down.
And as they go out, I will just shorten this somewhat. This one's here. Let's see. If we take, I would even mark this now. Okay, maybe it would be good to get this guy. I don't think it does much here anyway, even if you move it up here. I don't think it does much for the size. I will take this out and I will plant it here. Just because it's very fine, very thin, and then the small trees are going towards the outside of the forest. So I will move this guy here, and just to get a little more of a natural kind of, sort of feeling of the forest.
This, or was that?
I would wire this guy just a little bit. Just a little more.
They haven't done any picture a couple of years.
This is giving out like this.
Sticking out in one sense. Oh no, you want them to kind of fan out because they're all looking for the light, right? So yeah, I would use just a little bit of more movement instead of kind of going out.
If she were to incorporate these with the forest, what do you think would be a natural distance? Yeah.
This is a twin trunk. This is beautiful because it will allow variety to. You could even put this guy here. You could even put this guy.
No, I didn't. It's just more the
You could even put him right here.
I didn't expect
This twin trunk. And I would move this guy someplace else.
I don't think they're active.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the beginning of something nice. Oval pot. Very shallow, eventually. And I think it'll look good. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, awesome.
That's not Chinese much bigger.
These, no, I don't think you need to come any shorter necessarily. Maybe it's perfect on me here, but I think for me right now, yeah, I think your priority right now is to really reset your composition a little bit. That would be your priority here. Don't worry too much about putting these. I think they're generally pretty good. And you notice you have the shorter ones on the back, which is good because it gives you the sense of perspective. Right?
But the fruit is the same size.
The trunk is out like this. All right.
I'm excited yet.
You haven't decided yet? Okay.
This big.
Wow. How quickly do they grow?
Have a seat. Have a seat. There you go.
Okay. Where do you think the best from is? Get the best, come to the best company out of the combination today.
So,
A lot of these branches here, I think.
Yeah. You know what? Do you know how well they air layer? Can they air layer?
That I don't know. Are you earlier there?
Yeah, I don't love this. But if you do, that's fine. I don't love this. I'm trying I just don't.
Sergio, it's been recorded, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm trying to get the best I don't, yeah.
You have an awkward tree.
You know, this is forever going on the internet.
That is great. That is great. Awesome. I'm trying to find it, I'm trying to see how I can salvage this. And yeah, I would probably air layer way up there and get rid of the woman parts.
Yeah. And then I can split this too.
Alex, I'll find it up later.
Well, if you wanted to create it, it's just I'm not sure how the growth habit of this, but yeah, I suppose you could make two different trees. I would make very short shohin type of thing, and then just bring that whole thing way back. Way back. Just edit the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Because right now it's 2 legs. Yes.
Or
I'm moving on.
You are trouble.
you got them all embarrassed.
How are you ever going to
Moving
show
on.
this tree?
All right.
You can take control. It's all yours. After that,
Whose tree is this?
Mine.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello. Which one? Is this your front? Intended front? Oh, the side? Okay.
I think it needs to be shorter. and I think
Sure.
it's maybe the other-
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. But I think
Okay.
the size.
All right.
I borrowed this from you 2 days.
Alex, 2 legs.
Oh, you did?
You guys are troublemakers. I'm leaving. I thought this was a serious bonsai class. No, not at all. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long night. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I do agree with you.
Ines, you keep walking around. You left that in your car. I said, okay, I'll put it in the bag when it's here.
One thing I would do, if you want to keep these 2 branches,
Oh, no.
I would shift your planting angle to close this negative space a little more. So I would maybe choose that as a possible better front, slightly better front than something that feels where there is a wider space between here. I'm trying to close the gap here. So by angle change, we kind of close in into that space. I think it makes it feel a little bit better. I don't think that this is, it almost feels like, the whole tree is moving away from us. This is a little troublesome, these branches in here. I'm trying to...
Want to cut it?
These arms snap very easily.
I'll give you the.
Thank you. Trying not to snap it, or we'll end up with a bunch of cuttings. Yeah, okay. So if we wanted to keep it more or less like this, one thing I would probably do is wire it and bring this up, okay? Rather than it's coming straight at us and very parallel to the ground, I would bring it up and over to the right, so away from us, so it's not just, coming straight at us. I would potentially remove this, remove that, build a more rounded kind of canopy. It doesn't have to be, I think it can be brought in. You were saying to me that you want to bring this up, right? I don't know yet whether I would start with some of these. I would wire this. Definitely this needs to be away from us. No, I would remove, you see that one that is going towards the front? Remove that, and possibly this one here. You have, when you're building the deciduous structure, you always want to divide into twos, bifurcate, right? You don't want to go into threes. You want to go into twos all the time. That's not only true for deciduous, that's true for conifers as well. So I'm going to go, you see what I mean, right? 1, 2, 3, we need to select 2, or select 1 to be cut off. I will cut that one off, cut this elbow off. We don't need that. Okay. Bring that up. Actually, instead of 3, we had actually 4. I'm cutting the 4th one out. Okay. I'm going to cut here because I want to go to final growth. That's too thick. Bring that back. This looks a little too young. I'm going to cut that off.
Too young?
Yes, it had like a little bow kind of thing. She has much more older feeling branches that are better than that one. It was just kind of, it looked a little juvenile, so no need for that one. I'm gonna get rid of this one.
No.
The other thing that bothers me, you have 2 right angles. 1, 2. So we need to figure a way. One quick sort of trick that we can do is tilt it. That way, you don't even need wire to do that, to fix that. So a tilt may fix that, all of a sudden we're not dealing with right angles. I mean, we are, but in a way they're not parallel to the ground, which is really what was the most bothersome. So I may consider something like this. Already is bringing some of these branches up already. But I would consider even bringing these things back. It's gonna look a little bit odd when you're finished, but these things butt back, as you know, quite. Do you wire these guys at all, ever?
I haven't.
You haven't? Be careful because they snap very easily. Before you know, you have the branch in your hands. And they're all branches, so they're gonna be kind of brittle. I would not, yeah, I think a little bit of wire will help, but it's tough. It's really, really tough. Let me see. Yeah. again, your main thing is having this sort of flat plane, just shooting straight, trying to kind of shorten that, round this off, and this becomes a bit of your second sort of tier on this side here. You need some growth here, but that will come with time anyway. That's sort of roughly what I think. You may want to, wire some of these branches with the right gauge, and let's try to bend them a little bit. But it needs to be done carefully because, again, it fills out.
Put some bends in it.
Yeah. What do you think, Gage?
This could be the top here.
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna crank it down and then put this one and this one.
Yeah. And this is gonna be your in the front.
Sort of.
Yeah, you're gonna bring that forward. Yeah, sure. There you go. Boom, done. Yeah, that's great. This is, by the way, let me ask you. This is interesting. This is normally what. This is kind of like your replacement for raffia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of
interesting.
a Korean thing.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Obviously, it works for you.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. This is cool.
I got to put
It's
a little bit
interesting.
more on.
So you obviously will wire on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes what they'll do is
Uh-huh.
they'll do this. They'll put extra wire on there.
Yeah.
And then wrap it again.
Wrap it around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a common practice in Korea.
Well, we learned from this Korean artist that came to a nursery out here, and then he kind of taught us.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
That's very interesting.
it's like you don't have to, soak the raffia.
So the raffia.
You could just do
Yeah,
it.
and it takes a little bit of a little bit of dexterity, if you will, to apply raffia very cleanly and well.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it can be done certainly, but this is an interesting thing. I was like, okay, that's cool. Awesome. All right. Yeah. So love to see what you're gonna do with that. But I think it sounds like it's gonna work beautifully.
We'll see.
Yeah. Good luck. What kind of
Flowering peach,
flowering peach?
double peach.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And it's about to flower, I see, right?
Yeah, it's swelling.
Awesome.
It's swelling.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay.
What are you gonna do with this branch?
Okay, let's go to the Shohin now. All right, whose Shohin is this?
Mine.
All right.
About 6 trees probably. 6,
Uh-huh.
7, 8, 9, 10.
8, 9, 10. Do you know if it's a Yatsubusa?
No, it is a seiju.
Seiju? Beautiful. Okay.
There's too many trunks.
Yeah.
It's been in the pot for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. It has a little of it's rocking a little bit on the pot.
I think I screwed it on the bottom.
Okay.
It's not wired. It's screwed in.
It's screwed in. Okay.
Seiju.
Okay. You got some.
Here, sir. I got a marker.
Okay.
At one point, I was tempted to air layer to make small cuttings, but it's just too beautiful of a bark to waste.
Yeah, you could. I don't think. Let's see.
The one on the right hand looks like a dog leg. It just sticks out in a weird angle.
On the right?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, from certain angles, for me, it doesn't bother me because you see trees in nature doing that kind of interesting sort of twist, and it doesn't really bother me that much from certain angles. There are certain angles that, yes, I see what you're saying. From other angles, it's a little bit more subtle.
But the bark is beautiful on that branch, on that. So it's kind of hard to think about chopping it off.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. This potentially could be an interesting site for me.
Piece of paper. Sometimes you go. No, I don't have paper.
That's nice because that's what, and then if
Did you cut it here and that's where you got the,
Yeah, it's to fit in the car.
uh-huh. What's that?
It's just to fit it in the car. I had a bigger car when I bought this. It was taller too. Not anymore.
Not anymore, huh? See, from here, totally bothers me, that thing. It just goes right up, does not bother me from other angles. As far as I'm seeing here and looking at this tree fairly quickly, because I think we looked at it at one point when you came in, I was looking at this, I'm like, oh, just get rid of this. That's not probably the best front as I'm really looking at the tree. Again, just my opinion, there's something, I don't know, very intriguing for me, this angle right here. I don't love the fact that there's no taper here and it's so long. I would love to preserve this and have a lower branching here. It kind of gives me a sense of like real perspective if we can reduce the size of that. I don't have a problem with these, except they're a big too long stretches. I would shorten those a bit, but there's something beautiful, and we can make sort of like this twisting going down and up, branches in here that could look really, really interesting.
There's a marker. Have fun.
There is, okay, potentially, I may think about cutting it right here.
Okay.
And then making this
The
your
new
new
apex.
apex for this. What I love about this is that you have sort of somewhat of your main trunk. I would preserve most of the length of this, shorten this. This is just a little too strong. Shorten that, make that your apex. Shorten those on the back. Make sure, because that will give you real sense of perspective just going back. I would preserve all this stuff here and make sure that in your final design you sort of see it coming or peeking through the sides of the tree. There's something very powerful to me from this. You have two things. You have beautiful bark and you do have the sense of perspective. Bigger trunks in the front and then the smaller trunks you receive in the back. It has so much dimension. I kind of love this side. Then the other possibility for me anyway that I saw was actually in the other side corner, something around here. Same thing for me, it has a sense of perspective. Love how that trunk goes way back. This could potentially, I wonder if from this angle, that would not work as well if you shorten this. And if you don't shorten that, I think what bothers me a little bit is a little bit too straight, and I wish I had more to work with. You could always thread graft for sure, not a problem, even with the rough bark. I don't know if you guys have done it. I did it with an elm, a Yatsubusa elm that I have, and I did a thread graft, and it took me about a year to take. It has taken very well, but it took me a year as opposed to Japanese maples that I can probably do in 3 months. So there goes the sort of the differences sometimes in working with different species. But as I'm seeing this, it's almost like from here, it kind of kicks back. I think that there's something kind of interesting about that, but I think that this, to me, is potentially a good front. This bothers me. I think I would shorten that before I cut it back. Well, I don't think you'll have many issues. Just cut it a little bit longer and see where the tree responds, because I don't think you're gonna have a problem with backbiting at all. I was going to say maybe thread graft. I don't think you need to do that with elm anyway. Something, what did I say? I don't know. I still kind of, there's something about here and there's something about here for me.
Okay.
Okay? I can't see anything that, for me, is better than those two angles. This to me is really bothersome. This to me does not work. You have the bigger trees on the back.
That's a bad.
Yes, exactly. As far as perspective it's not effective. Moving on, here is just, I'm not finding anything here. This is not good. And then you start getting into some more interesting, this is almost
A U shape.
like a U shape, exactly. So we wanna reduce that effect, and I don't know, it feels very natural to me, especially if you cut that and make this your more or less your second apex. Could be, yeah, this is like middle and then like this. Here you're closing on this side. Yeah, you open this. For me, it doesn't bother me. You're kind of seeing, and you could do it in a way where that trunk in the middle does not split that negative space right through the middle. It kind of goes a little bit towards the left. So it doesn't split that negative space right through the middle.
Okay.
So that you have a bit of a variety, if you will.
Asymmetric.
Asymmetrical, exactly. I think it's an awesome piece of material. Fantastic. I mean, it's multi-trunk. I think it's absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about the branches, but that's the list of your
Concerns?
concerns right now. Yeah, it's great material. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this one. Yes, because we started talking about it, and I'm a little excited about this tree. Okay. It's very odd looking, and we talked about a couple of possibilities, which I think there are certainly options here. We had looked at this tree, very unique looking. It has a Bunjin type of feel to it, and one of the possibilities is to make a shorter tree. That we can always make a short tree. If it were my tree, I would probably preserve the entire length of it. And I was looking at it, and of course, this would appear to be the front because it leans towards us, right? However, let me look at it again.
Clear it out. This is more interesting on this side.
See, what I don't like about this front, even though it's leaning towards us, it's got almost like a perfect bow shape. It curves almost too evenly, and not. I don't think it looks as rugged from that side as it does from here. How we can, fix this problem of going away, of course, is by changing the planting angle, which we can easily do. As far as the angle, I think that this kind of makes an angle and goes straight up, which I don't think is that good. But as you turn it, then I would think that somewhere in here, the one thing that I recommended, sorry, you're Nick, is I highly recommend that if we want to preserve this entire trunk, it has a slight problem. It's got an inverse taper right up here. The other problem is, even though it's got beautiful bark, they basically has no taper. It's a very sort of boring trunk. So I suggested that he should do a very dramatic carving through the entire length of the tree, and I think then I think he's going to be telling a story of struggle, because the whole thing feels like he's struggling, and then you have this sort of nice trunk that lacks a little bit of character, even though you have beautiful bark. The one thing that we could do then is start bringing this kind of down and up here to hold this as a low branch. I think I might remove this branch here, and I would start developing these branches, not quite as long, coming down. But again, that's the least of our concerns right now, is really deciding. Nick, I think that from certain angles, it's got a bit of a swing from right to left and then it kicks back to the right, which I think may be kind of nice, except you got this sort of pigeon breasted. So I think there's a little bit of a compromise that's gonna happen. But again, I would highly recommend that to carve this tree if we want to preserve the entire length. I think it would be really beautiful in a round pot. It could be quite a tree. Quite a tree.
Cool.
Yeah, and very careful. I would still bend that down.
Yeah.
In Bunjin style, generally speaking, you want to keep those branches very close to the trunk. You never want to see this Bunjin and then stretch out because you are kind of emphasizing or telling that story of struggle where those branches have been weighed down by snow and whatnot.
Okay.
But we still have flexibility in these branches that could be kind of going down like this. I would probably remove this branch here. Don't think it's buying as much, to be honest. I would remove that and again bring this sort of down close to the trunk.
Okay.
This one very carefully wire, and I would even bring it further down in this area right here.
So it's coming up on a repot, and I could do some of this heavy pruning. So remove this.
Yeah.
And start.
I would keep most of the top for now.
Yeah, yeah.
There may be some further anything for sure. What is happening here?
Oh, I bent it over just because I wanted to bend.
see.
But I was gonna. My plan is to cut it back.
So I think
Feel
you
free.
can. I believe that this one should go from this angle.
Get rid of
This one already has a natural downward motion.
Yeah.
Get rid of this one. And your apex, I think instead of facing from left to right, so the weight of the apex should fall towards the left. That's what I think. Over the bigger branch.
Okay. Awesome. And to me, this is gone, and then I have this big space. Am I going to want to fill that?
Not a problem, because you're gonna develop some of the ones on the top right above there.
And here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally,
Okay.
totally, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not really concerned about losing and elms, again, they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
put out a lot of growth.
Totally.
So not an issue, I don't think.
Okay.
Great, okay,
So get a pro to carve that thing.
awesome. I would even go as deep as maybe. Oh, there's a man, right there, yeah. I would even go as far as some areas, maybe it's a little bit of a see-through. That's how deep that's how dramatic I would do it. Yeah, you want to reduce the visual weight of this trunk also, because again, it's sort of going from thin to thicker,
It is.
and you can mitigate that by just kind of doing a beautiful carving job all the way to the top. Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Cool.
Awesome.
Still hanging in there, man.
Thank you.
Oh, man. I don't think kick my ass.
Sergio's not gonna wanna come back here.
Never again, I was.
It's like minus Paul.
He said that
Oh,
Hope
yes.
Bob picks me up tonight.
What's that?
I told him, you said you had Hope Bob picks you up tonight. I'll be taking the bus back.
All right, what am I doing next?
Do you want to go?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, Paul, yes. All right, let's, okay. Let's take a look at Paul. This was my first juniper too, Paul. A Procamus juniper. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna get rid of the weeds. No junipers. Okay. All right. So we got a Procamus juniper here. Okay, so what I would do with these materials, I would even put a more of a dramatic. I would compress this tree a bit tighter. And you may, yeah.
Today, you're gonna get another plant.
Let's see what we make here. Sorry, we'll replace that. Always look at that tree at every angle and find interesting lines. Trying to see if we can make this into something else.
I know.
Oh, I saw it. I heard that.
With this trick. All right. I actually would. It's got a very, I mean, it's got a very kind of typical side. Did you write it?
No, it's a show.
Okay. Oh, I saw. Okay. I would turn this into. I think this could be turned into a Bunjin style. You seen them?
It's another.
Where's my bag? I'm looking for my bag.
Is it up here?
I would try to take all these curves out, rewire it, straighten this trunk, and I can see something done like this. Something like this, I see here. So I think it'll gain more character, okay? So more is not better necessarily. If this were my piece of material, again, I would take a piece of wire, straighten that length of the trunk, which could possibly happen with the right gauge. And it may not quite look like this in the end, but I think I would just turn this into a Bunjin style tree. Very delicate. The Bunjin style has this sort of very delicate, it's not about big masses, it's about very delicate foliage pads. Less is more definitely with Bunjin for sure. Notice how there's no lower branches, and you know the class is not geared towards going in depth, but you'll learn about very different styles of bonsai. Bunjin is so very simple, very subtle, elegant almost kind of style in bonsai. And it's typified by very minimal amount of branches. Sometimes they only have two. It's a very elegant, very thin, small pot. And I actually think you can turn this into quite a nice Bunjin out of this. If you were to leave it like this, you can. It's very sort of, I'm trying to make something more unique out of what you have here. It's very kind of almost cliche bonsai. I mean, and I don't mean to put it down, but I'm just really being honest with it. And I'm trying to get something a little more original out of this piece of material, which I think you can. I think you can. Right now, again, it's a little bit cliche bonsai, and I'm trying to get it a little bit outside of that. Okay?
Just straighten it first, and then take off the branch?
Yeah, but since you're a beginner, somebody's gonna have to help you with that, because you're gonna have to be careful. In fact, you may have to even raffia this, maybe not. Can you see something? Yeah, with copper wire, you could probably do it without raffia. And you could, don't think of this necessarily as your planting angle. You could always tilt it, okay, to help us a little bit. So that's sort of what I would do with this tree. Maybe keep 3-4 branches at most up on the top.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break. Sergio, you want something to eat?
Sure. Yeah.
A little break, and then we'll get right back on it. Okay. And Greg's gonna be selling raffle tickets. So see Greg.
There are several Bunjin which we're trying to describe, and they're very simple, and it's very instructive to see.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. I'm going there, I think, on Saturday for the show.
Oh, that's, so walk around the Chinese court, and he has the.
Sorry, I'm gonna leave this with you. Okay, sure. Everything down just as a reference, of course. Yeah.
That's great. I would never have seen that.
Well, you know, as I say, you kind of look at it here so many times that you can, but I think it is possible. I think, of course, you would have to remove all these lower branches here and just keep the very top and just do this very elegant kind of trunk. Anyway, it may not end up looking exactly like this. That's okay, just for a very rough sort of guideline for you. Okay? Sure, of course. And just do a lot of research. Okay. Just keep reading, do a lot of research, and you'll get there. You'll get there. My first bonsai looked like that. So and nothing against it, but I'm gonna try to get you to think a little bit differently. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Planting it here.
Like air layering.
Sticking it in and allowing it, starting to roots.
Yeah.
I've tried this with a couple of other Chinese elms, but
yeah,
it's still kind of like the curve.
I do too, but you know, you got this is really strong. And they, I mean, essentially a reverse taper. In rough bark trees, rough bark elm, rough bark maple, the reverse taper is not always as critical as when, visually as critical as a smooth bark tree, for example, like Japanese maple. I think because of the texture of the bark, it kind of hides a little bit the fact that it has that inverse taper. At least that's my belief, but it does. Yeah, I may be tempted to. It's just a little.
Take it off over here.
It's a little bit troublesome. You're saying air layer here. I would probably make use of this, at least the space here. Maybe air layer, very much like what you said.
Yeah.
And then this is too. Is this alive?
Yes, it was. It started actually. It was alive. Oh, no, it's dead. That might have died back over.
Okay, so this is I saw the wrinkled bark and the reddish gave me a little bit of there. This is all dead. Okay, that's dead. That's alive. Obviously, that's alive. You could go back to there. You could go back to there. And now we have a different. I feel like we have a different problem. Or a different situation. I may want to keep this now, air layer here, sort of go for a twin trunk, shocking maybe, but this is way too much. Eventually I would cut it short and grow and regrow a new layer.
Every time I've taken a cut, it just like explodes.
Yes, but, right, exactly. My new angle may be somewhere here, rather than, you know, here and get this piece of material, maybe work with this. Eventually, I would not keep this as long as it is. Maybe I would shorten it here and hopefully it will not back. Yeah.
I just like the big knot over here.
Yeah, because it's almost like how you had that natural flare. So I think that might be good. But that made our problem a little bit very different because this is completely dead. I don't think it's worth then keeping the whole thing. However, if you do that, you may get a smaller tree, maybe you cut it really short and you get a much, you could almost make a broom style, something very short. Exactly. So cut it, yeah, exactly, just create a very stout, short trunk, choking broom style.
My understanding is just fatten up so much fierce because so much growth is pushed back in the trunk.
Yeah. You have some roots here, so that's good. I mean, the thing with, so you could salvage a piece of that. But, so maybe here and play with that, and then you will need to shorten that. That's probably the most we can get out of, as I'm seeing it, the most out of this material. Anyway, okay? Yeah, cool. Very good. That made it kind of easy for us. Yes.
My mom is going to take my place.
Oh, your mom is going to take you?
That's fine.
All right. Good son.
how to select branches.
Okay.
Pumped out.
All right, this is always a trial, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, sure. Well, this is your street. So. I think it's your front. I think it's front. You have a better base here than here. Something about how it leans slightly forward, the way the trunk comes forward, it feels a little more natural than here. Yes, this one faces back. In any case, we're not going to keep that length, we're going to shorten it, so eventually you're going to grow something and grow out this way. Now, as far as branch selection, so immediately this is going to be your front, you don't want anything, right? This is going to be your main branch, obviously. We're going to cut that off, okay? Now, as you go up, you don't want any branches going inside, okay? So we're going to cut that off. Cut that off. My recommendation is not to keep the length of this trunk. I cut it right here. For now, what I would do is I would cut it there.
Eventually. This is not gonna do it.
No.
Not exactly big enough.
I got a salsa on my car.
It's okay. I got a lighter.
I would cut it there, leave a little bit of a stump, like a little shoulder, develop. You're probably gonna get back body develop this one, I think proportionally, because eventually you're gonna come down here. Okay, like that. You see that, but not right now, because this is too weak. I don't want to weaken that any further. So I will cut it across. It's going to move a little bit. Let it heal. That fix on it. Let whatever growth comes out, just let it be. Again, anything here, I'll cut off.
I haven't been up there.
Cut off. This space is out, but what I'm looking for, okay,
I got more than enough trouble.
I'm gonna cut this thing off.
It's like 2 miles away. She drove really. I figured because the pass is very close to me.
I'm hoping, and I think you probably won't have any issues, that you do have a bud somewhere in here that grows forward. That's going to be your first practice. This is okay, possibly useful, but you cannot depend on that being your leader because it's just facing the wrong way, okay? You want something forward. Again, I think reducing it will give you better proportions overall, but it's got a nice feature to it, for sure. It's got beautiful kind of movement to it. Yeah, and I think that where you have it here is perfect front. That's what I would say.
I should make the cut in this season, this cut right here, this season, right now.
Yes, you can do it right now with a saw. Very carefully, you don't want to damage that. Even if you want to cut a little bit.
Actually, I just did this. It was bigger, much bigger. I just
Recorded it?
Yeah. Just
When did you?
Like in January, first week of January.
Oh, this year. So you used cut this?
No.
No, that was
way back.
Way back. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
But
All right.
I cut, the root was
The
cut.
roots.
It was very long.
Yeah, that's not a problem, especially with trying it. You think you can cut it back. I can actually just take all this stuff. Yeah. Just so it makes it easy for you to use a saw when you're cutting. Got it. Okay. You got it? Okay. Ready? You want? Yeah. I promise I won't. Sure.
You have to answer to my mom. Sushi.
For my next act. You're going down. That's what I'm.
Okay, that's okay.
I really have a sawzall in my car.
Chainsaw?
Sawzall. You really didn't want that part, huh? You didn't really want that part anymore?
I thought it was a little long, but now it makes sense what he wanted to do.
Yeah, this is being very
I like it.
You can hold it from that angle. Yeah, watch your finger. We're gonna go very easy. Okay, sure. Okay, no need to do much with it, just cover it, okay? And let it just see. Already better, kind of better proportions of that lower piece, okay? And I would not cut this at all. Let it bud. I mean, I think if you're getting buds everywhere here, rub them off. But anything else in this area, just let it grow. Let it grow. Don't touch it.
Do you use this one?
I'm sorry?
Do you use this one?
I do not, but this is probably fine. It's okay. I think this is, yeah, just to cover it. Just okay. Yeah, pretty. And bright. Thank you. Sure?
So way better.
Thank you. Okay, excellent. All right. Can I give you your hat? Thank you. Okay, moving on, we're gonna have that. Those are clubs there, Japanese clubs, that's nice.
Yeah, those are my mom's.
Okay, oh, they're nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a problem.
Great. Okay. Sorry, what's your name?
Manuel.
Manuel? Okay, nice to meet you. Okay. All right. All right, so tell me a little bit about this tree.
I got this about almost 10 months ago.
Okay.
From San Gabriel Nursery.
Okay.
And I thought I could separate them out, but they were just one clump.
One clump.
And then when I took it out of the original pot, it had grown so thick at the base that I had to trim it down. I cut off that much.
Okay.
It was all
right.
wood.
Got it.
And now I have this loose thing that's parallel to this.
Okay.
And then I have this bark that's
Okay.
peeled up.
Got it. Okay, so you have this.
Yeah.
And do you know if this is fused somehow connected to this?
I do not know that.
It might be right here.
What's that, Joe?
Maybe right there,
Right.
right there. Right
Yeah,
there.
I think it's twisted.
I think it's just twisted around.
Yeah, I think it's kind of.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so.
Staring at that tree.
Okay, if this were my tree, the first thing I probably would think about doing is cutting this complete thing off.
Okay.
I don't think that this is gonna get any better.
Okay.
Because of the distance between your main piece and this is so great, I would cut this off as well. And I would just make this my main tree. I would cut that all off. The way I would treat this, and unfortunately, for some reason, I mean, I'm not too concerned because elm does, they do bud back quite easily. Manuel's like,
He's here to take advantage of it. You can like your tree, but don't love it, okay?
Want to do it?
Branch is coming off.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. First section of the root gone. Okay. And now we're gonna get rid of this guy. It's coming off by itself. There we go. That's what I would do. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. All right. And now we have a different problem. Okay. So you can reduce. I'm not gonna spend time reducing this, but you can cut that off eventually. Okay. What could be interesting about this is creating a design that looks a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Thank you. I was going to drop my pad over there, but I'm seeing something very quickly, and again, it's just roughing it out. Do you have a chopstick by any chance?
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Okay. I'm trying to that's how what is going on. You don't have a great neighbor. You have just one. It looks to me like you got mainly with just one root, strong root, which is not great. But if you want to salvage whatever you have here, and I think also, Manuel, that your soil is very dense, I would transplant this. You probably may be fine with it now. I would transplant this as something more porous and more open. It's very, very dense. Not a great nebari. If you wanted to preserve the tree as it is, the only thing that I would just do is maybe from this looks like it's our back, so not good in here because it's going away from us. I would say something around here, and I'm saying maybe kind of nice to create something that feels. So I would design all my branches going this way. That's your base, right? And I would have very small foliage pads, so almost like a multi-trunk. In a way, it has a bit of a Bunjin feel, maybe with a ground pot, and create something pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this is very rough, but it gives you a sense that, again, the key here, the main takeaway for what I'm suggesting is that all these branches need to follow through in the same direction, I would say from right to left. And I would wire all these, and I would just give a movement all in the same direction. You don't want to wire this all like this. Everything needs to follow in the one direction. Not a windswept, it's more of a slanting style. That's what I would do. You will need, it may be nice to get lower branches somewhere, but I see it as very delicate tops. This has to, very, very minimal design where your branches are very small, very, very simply ramified, nothing that is very heavy. Otherwise, it's going to destroy because you have very skinny trunks and you have big masses of foliage. You want to reduce that so that it becomes more in proportion with the rest of the actual girth of your trunks. It is a little bothersome that your trunks do not have any taper, but this is sort of the only way that I'm seeing where you can create something out of this material. Okay.
Would I cut this off?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you cut this, you could cut this one. Don't cut it because it's going in the wrong direction. I would also.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Bend it this
redirect.
way. I probably would not cut it right off the bat. I would be as quick as I was to cut this. I would not be so quick to cut this yet. And again, all kind of going in the same direction, different heights. Okay, different heights. I think if you cut this back here, you will have back butting. I don't think that's an issue. So that's the other key: is different heights and all going in the same direction. Also, be mindful when you do it that your distances, your negative spaces as they go up, vary that. Don't make them feel like they're all equally spaced, so that you create a little more of a natural interest in the design.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Great. Excellent. Thank you, Manuel. So you're saying the one on the left?
Yeah, because it's on the inside.
Let's see.
Okay. Or you like the one on the right?
Let's see.
Yeah, like right there, right there. And then this one now.
You mean cut this off?
No. This one right here. See the one right here?
Yeah. What about? Oh yeah. I cut it because it's like exactly.
Yeah.
Let's just see something.
So you're going to put a couple of the new ones.
Or you like the inside one?
I don't like these two.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That off?
Yes.
Okay, so that's steps
Because it was
out,
competing
right?
with this.
Agreed. Now, in this case, I'm gonna actually keep my.
Get rid of the fat one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too overpowered, right?
Right. And we're gonna walk away. Okay.
Yes. That's
And we can create a nice branch out of this. Now, we have an opportunity here to cut it back.
Right.
So we're gonna do first. But here you could cut it here and you'll probably butt right at the base of it. Okay. So we could do that. We can shorten it right there. You have double branching here.
Yep.
And actually, let's just see something. Yeah. So we're probably gonna cut this one here. Clean that out. This is an important branch actually, because it kind of fills the spot. Although we do have
3 in a row.
All right,
Yeah.
I will take that back. Sorry, I like this one better.
Okay.
All right, this one is dead. Life. It's a really beautiful tree.
So again, we have 2 competing.
Great job.
Because I was like, wait, staring at me.
2 competing where, Joe?
Right here, right
yeah. See.
I didn't mean to jump over your.
No worries.
And I think.
No worries.
And since this one's fatter than that one,
What do you think?
the lower one should go, right?
The lower what?
The lower one should go.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
For balance, for balance.
Yeah.
And then I'll get rid of that too.
Okay. I love to wire this tree completely.
Where's the
Really the detailed wiring. Well, not me.
No, not him.
Not me.
But me, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Not me, but,
No,
so we
yes.
have 3 here, right? We're
Yes,
gonna get rid
yes.
of that middle one, the thick one.
Right.
Okay. An opportunity here. You even have a very short, you see that
Yes.
short
Yep.
internote?
Right.
Cut it right,
Yep.
right to that. Okay, you have another opportunity here to cut it back. Again, with deciduous trees, it's always, we always have to replace, a game of replacement to final growth, so that we keep the tree. This is very tall, but we can probably create something. Yeah, I may keep this material here because we can round that crown up a little bit by wiring. I think there's folks that believe that deciduous trees should be only cut, clip and grow, as they call it. I believe that you get best results when you wire. It's a combination of wire and clip and grow. I think if we need to reset the branches, I would wire these to the tips. And then after a while, and when I mean a while, maybe 2 to 3 years, you may have to rewire some branches. Slowly pull back from the wiring and let the natural growth habit of the tree just kind of take over and that's how you're going to end up very natural. But I think some of these branches need to be reset in the right position, and you can only do that with wire, not with a clip and grow. I think clip and grow gives you a very, very angular kind of growth pattern, and I think with wire you can get those sort of zigzags, and a combination of those 2 techniques, in my opinion, gives you the best results when you're designing a deciduous structure.
Is this one too fat right here too? It's in
Let's
between
see.
the 2.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So we can go here and to replace it for the final growth.
Right.
That's it. We got a bunch of them here, so we're gonna clean that off to 2. Okay. All right. But what I would do, Joe, is when you wire again down and up, and that will give you that very
up at the tips.
Exactly. That will give you that very soft, billowy silhouette that is typical of the deciduous tree. It's got a very beautiful, very natural feel.
What do you
tree.
think about getting rid of that one?
Which one?
Right there. You see?
Yeah. I mean, we can.
Well, I'm just
exactly.
asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it was kind of overpowering.
One thing that bothers me a little bit
That one?
is that it doesn't. No, you definitely need this branch.
Yeah, but no.
I wish you had another branch in there.
Yeah.
You don't. That's okay. Maybe we can eventually.
So where would you actually put the front?
Where here? One second. This is
Yeah.
very strong. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Let me just.
Yep, I see it too. Yeah.
Okay.
And what about that one?
I'm gonna shorten here.
Yeah.
What about which one?
This one here.
Uh,
Just leave it like
no, because I want to.
Oh, you wanted to lay it out.
Yeah,
That's right.
lay it
That's
like
right.
that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So the same with these, lay them out.
Correct. So I think, yeah, totally. So down, horizontal, and then kind of up like this, almost like a vase type of. We're gonna shorten right here.
Yes.
Okay. Great. And I would even probably try to bring that branch
To bring in the center.
a little more.
Yeah.
Where
would you like this
I
one?
do think, looking at this one here now, Joe, and see when it comes out, how straight that is.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is, this is a better line right here. If we get rid of that,
That's fine.
right?
Yep. No, I agree with you now.
You're good?
Yeah. Oh, I have no problem.
Let's get rid of
Like I
that.
said,
Does
I like
everybody
my tree,
see
but
that?
They can't love my tree.
You guys see that? There is a straight line here that is kind of an interesting. By cutting here, you're already kind of creating a better angle. So from the front, you also see it. It's just going straight out to the left, and I think we're going to create a better general structure if we get rid of this.
Hey, cut.
Okay.
But it's future. It's future.
It's future. We're thinking about the future, not necessarily right now.
Right.
Okay. And I would wire this out.
Okay. Same thing, parallel down.
Yeah, you have. Let me get rid of this.
Yeah, that was just, now that we took that branch out.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut back here, 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 and here. Okay.
So you actually like that one too?
I do.
Oh yeah, I see.
The reason
from
for
your-
that?
I
Yeah,
see
look
your
at that.
angle.
See?
From my angle, yeah, but from your angle, yes, I see.
You see this?
Lay
And
them
then you
down
bring
in
it up.
there.
I
Fill
wish
it
we
in.
had something here.
Back
Now,
here, yeah.
with Arakawa, you can let a whip grow, let a shoot grow, or two, in preparation and anticipation for thread grafting. You've done that?
No.
No thread grafting?
Yeah, I saw you the video last night.
Yeah, so-
I've done it, but I've never done it. I mean, I've
Okay.
seen it done, but I've never done one, yeah.
All right. So I would love to thread graft somewhere in this section here eventually. And I'm hoping that you get some branching here. With Arakawa maples, you're not gonna get back budding in anything that is barked up.
Right.
You're only gonna get back budding in anything that is green like this, new, but in anything that has bark, you will not. So we need to resort to either approach grafting or thread grafting, okay? But overall, beautiful. It's got a very natural feel. It's Arakawa, and they're gorgeous. I would wire this thing to the tips.
I would do that.
I would.
So actually,
Right.
now where do you like the front? If I
Yeah, so
That's it.
I haven't really thought about it. Somewhere in here, I think maybe good. Not there. Actually, this is not. Maybe good. The incline, because we're going to close this gap. Here is kind of wide. If you do this,
that actually fills in right there.
bring this out a little bit, maybe. For now, I will wire this, Joe, and then we can kind of play around with it. Okay.
Now, you were saying
Yeah.
inch and a half? You want to see an inch and a half?
Inch and a half of. Sorry, I forgot what I said.
Oh, it was pot size.
Oh, yeah, about very small.
In an oval or
Oval, yeah. And I think
you said a cream color?
I would say cream color, preferably if you have a little bit of patina.
Yeah.
By making it low profile pot, it would actually make the trunk feel bigger.
So how far out would you?
Maybe half an inch.
Oh, okay.
More or less, or a quarter
I think
inch
this is
wider
like-
than this.
I think this is 8 out to 10. So do 12.
No, 12 I think is.
So what, 11?
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Not quite set, Joe. So much too far on the right.
Okay.
I would center it just a little bit off center, but not quite as dramatic as what you have it here. Okay, cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Short, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we gotta wrap it up. Yeah. I got it, in fact.
Oh, we're done, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much done.
They got their tickets.
Okay, got their tickets in. Can we get a big round up? Thank you very much. I don't know if you're growing. You guys do.